The Cowboys OT is brought to you by Sleep Number. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team. And NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.
It's about time to add another one to the long list of holiday classics. This time, the Dallas Cowboys come out on top of a Christmas Eve classic against the NFC East foe Philadelphia Eagles, 40-34. The final score from AT&T Stadium. The Cowboys with some revenge over the Eagles. They hand them their second loss of the 2022 season, keep their divisional hopes alive at least for one more week. Welcome in to Cowboys OT from the Star in Frisco in the Globe Life Studios. Alongside Barry Church, Nate Newton, Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle Yeomans, ready to break down this 6-point win for the Dallas Cowboys. They were able to hold on late against Gardner Minshew and the Philadelphia Eagles. Neither team really at full strength, but this felt like a playoff-type atmosphere from Arlington.
Look, this was a heck of a game. You know, both sides played hard-fought football out there, and this is exactly what playoff football looks like. Was it perfect by the Dallas Cowboys? Not by any stretch of the imagination. Once again, this defensive line wasn't able to get home, but they were able to force 4 takeaways. And if you got 4 takeaways in a game, you'll always stand a chance to win the game. They got the ball back to their offense, and Dak, after the early blunder, I got to give it to him. The guy was out there. He was immaculate. He found CeeDee Lamb out there, whether he was in the outside, whether he was in the slot, and the kid, 88, was able to make plays out there. Nobody could stop him out there for any stretch of the imagination. Was it perfect? No, but at the end of the day, you'll take the W.
It was a punch, counter punch all game long, but the Cowboys are a little bit behind most of the game. But at the end of the game, they found a way to win this game. But I want to speak on CeeDee Lamb, man. Wait, we criticized him. We talking his body language was no good. He needed to be a better route runner. Hey, him and Kellen Moore, Dak has gotten together. You see a guy that's catching that rock and making plays. I tell you what, your boy T.Y. Hilton, Isaiah, nice. Whenever we thought these Cowboys was out of the game, defensively or offensively, somebody came up with a big play. Hey, Dak, where'd he get up off the deck?
Yeah, this game was all about resilience. And that's really the word of the day for me, because every time that you felt like they were out of it, somebody else stepped up and made a big play. And that's what you look for, right? You just heard Barry talk about playoff football. Playoff football is about playing as good as you can. And then when something bad happens, how do you respond? How do you respond? Do you put your head down? Do you feel sorry for yourself? Do you let it snowball? Or do you say, nah, forget that. I'm coming back and I'm about to make a play. Nah, forget you. I'm about to make the play. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that camaraderie, that competition, that inner squad competition to go out there and overcome your pitfalls.
It really took some really big-time plays late to get this one done. And speaking to what Nate was talking about, CeeDee Lamb in the last 2 weeks, 17 receptions, 246 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He's really stepped it up. It was the 8th all-time game on Christmas Eve in Cowboys franchise history. They were previously just 2-5. Philly notched a field goal on their opening drive. Dallas on their first drive. Oh no, Dak Prescott right into the hands of Josh Sweat, who returns it for a touchdown. Dak's 8th in the last 4 games, his 12th of the year, Isaiah.
Yeah, this is just, I don't know what this was, but Josh Sweat took the gift either way. It was a good Christmas for him, and he got to get those knees up. Dak, one bad play, got it out the way.
That made it a Philadelphia 10-0 lead. Offense needed an answer. They got it on the ground. Zeke with the touchdown brings it back within 3. Going to the second quarter, first play of the second quarter. That defense needs to step up. Daron Bland does just that. Jumps in the passing lane. His first interception of the season, 3rd in a Cowboys uniform. And that sets up this offensive play. Dak Prescott needing to find some rhythm after that early interception. This throw to CeeDee Lamb, and then look at the cut from Land. Whoop! Right back to the inside. He's into the end zone for the score, for Nate.
I tell you what, man, that was a nice little route, little crossing route right there. Oh, he felt something on his back. Hey, just spin off into the end zone.
14 unanswered points for Dallas, had them up 14-10. Philly would earn it on 4th down, a QB sneak to retake the lead. Then both teams traded field goals right before the break. Philly led by 3, 20-17. Following a 3-and-out by Dallas to start the third, Eagles faced with 4th and 3 in the red zone. Devontae Smith sneaks out for an easy pitch and catch. Touchdown Eagles. Dallas would answer with a field goal, but they needed a stop, and they get one. It's a Christmas gift put on the ground, recovered by Daron Bland. And a few plays later, again, Dak Prescott turning a turnover into points. He rolls out and then right at the goal line finds Michael Gallup, the toe drag swag. keeps it inbounds. Dallas ties it up at 27. On to the fourth we go. Philly making things tough. Dallas bringing the heat, but Gardner Minshew puts it on the goal line. Again, it's Devontae Smith for the touchdown. After a pair of sacks made it 3rd and 30, Dallas with their backs against the wall. Welcome to Dallas. T.Y. Hilton goes up for 52 yards, Isaiah.
This is a play that's not supposed to happen, but guess what? It did. Here he is versus quarters coverage on a 3rd and impossible. He gets past not only the corner, but also the safety. Great ball by Dak.
Ran right by Darius Slay. Huge gain. Picked up the first down. Then 4 plays later, Dak rips it to CD. Lamb's second touchdown of the game. How can the defense swing the tide a little bit? It's Daron Bland. He rips this one out of the hands and into his own. His 5th interception of the year, Barry, and it turns it into 3 for Brett Maher as Dallas takes the lead.
Look, this young kid is playing outstanding football. Not only in the slot, but on the outside, as you see right here. Gets his hand on the football, says, "No, sir, that is my ball." Rips it away from Watkins right there. Heck of a play by the rookie.
Defense still has to hold strong, even up by 3. And Miles Sanders, here's the field goal that actually put them up by 3. This was 37-34. Dallas needed that defense again to play strong on a potential with 2.5 minutes to play. This ball put on the ground. It was recovered by Dallas. Their second fumble of the second half. Dallas turned it into a 6-point lead. One last chance for the Eagles, and this one flies right out of the back of the end zone, hits the turf, and the Cowboys hold on 40-34, the final score from AT&T Stadium. A huge win, not only for confidence level, but it also keeps their divisional hopes alive. Still slim hopes, but you needed one step to go your way, and the first one is out of the way for the Dallas Cowboys. When we come back, we take a look at what Dak Prescott was able to do after that early interception. He turned around and had a pretty good game all the way through and through for Dak Prescott. When we come back with more Cowboys OT.
This segment is brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
6-point win for the Dallas Cowboys. It took every ounce of the offense, keeping this one within striking distance throughout for the Cowboys to come out on top of the Philadelphia Eagles. Back here with Nate Newton and Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Yeomans. And gentlemen, let's dive into what Dak Prescott was able to do early on, because he threw the pick on really the first drive of the ball game. It was an early interception where he's had quite a few of those lately, 12 this season, 8 in the last 4 games. Isaiah, what does it say about him, the way he was able to respond?
It says everything. I mean, you talk about a QB1. This is what you ask of a QB1. If you make a big boo-boo, then you come back and you cover it up with a Band-Aid. And he had 3 Band-Aids in the form of touchdowns. He did a good job getting that mistake out the way. Once that was out the way, he was able to get his focus, get his feet set, start delivering really good balls, highly accurate balls, whether it was short game, whether it was mid-range, or whether it was down the field to T.Y. Hilton. He was dropping dimes all day long. You talk about 27 of 35. He did an immaculate job of sitting back there. And even when he had a little bit of pressure, you saw him work the pocket, work around, get himself squared up, go back to his mechanics, which I think he's been failing to do over the recent past few weeks, and he was able to deliver some really good balls today.
And the thing about him, as you see right there on the film, he stood strong and made a pass right there. But more importantly, he moved around in the pocket. He got some runs today. He's 6 foot. He was 6 attempts for 41 yards, 6.8 average. Whenever Dak can use his feet naturally, he becomes a better quarterback.
Yeah, he actually had more rushing yards than Tony Pollard did in the ball game. How much did his legs early on kind of open things up? Because it looked tight. Philly coverage-wise was good in the first half until he was able to run the football.
When you got a quarterback that's going against a Philly team like that, everybody's just rushing anywhere they wanted to rush. But once he started moving around, the coach told him, hey, you stay in your lane. And all of a sudden, when you have to stay in your lanes, I can line up on you as offensive lineman a little bit better and block you. I knew where everything is coming from. So when he started moving around and making things happen, it made their defense slow down just a tick.
There's a reason why some of the most dangerous teams in the NFL have quarterbacks that are mobile. It's because whenever you have a rush, a pass rush, okay, to applies pressure, these guys can step up out the pocket like you see him do right there. And now the secondary has to also take into account the fact that he can cross the line of scrimmage. Whenever he's able to do that, all right, he forces their hand, and all of a sudden those windows behind those guys start getting larger, and you start seeing guys do the tornado dance just like that.
CeeDee Lamb was phenomenal. We'll hear from CeeDee later in the show. But let's talk about the ground game, because it wasn't the same dominance that we've seen on the ground from the Cowboys. Now, they did end up with over 100 yards rushing, but like Nate just said, 41 of those came from Dak Prescott. Tony Pollard held to just 9 carries, 19 yards. Ezekiel Elliott, 3.5 yards per carry with 55 total and a touchdown. Isaiah, were you happy with the way that Dallas ran the football?
I was, because, I mean, the reality is that's about all you can expect against this front. I mean, these guys are 6, 7, 8 deep at the defensive line position. We talking about big boss hogs, right? You talking about Linfield Joseph, Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis, Hargrave. I mean, these guys have some dudes. So if you can get any kind of consistent running game against them and utilize that to open up your passing game, it's a win. They didn't turn the ball over on the ground, so I'm happy with that. And they were able to get to their play action game, which we know how important that is for Dallas.
It was a battle. Like he said, they had 4 or 5 monsters up there. They got about the deepest defensive line you'll see in this league. So when you're able to get 115 yards at 3.7 yards a carry, it's just enough to keep them balanced up front. It's just enough to give your quarterback a chance as a play-action pass quarterback.
And, of course, there were some holes on the offensive line last week against Jacksonville. Nate, how do you feel like that offensive line responded against such a talented front seven?
As you saw in the deal, we had 1,000 ties jumping around. But you know what? Everybody stayed at home today, and I feel good. This line can get better as we move further into the season.
I felt pretty good about it. I think not Jason Peters, but Tyron Smith is still figuring things out over there on the right side. There was a couple pressures that he gave up on the interior because he was setting a little bit too heavy on the outside. But those are all things that you go back and watch film on, and you shore those things up. He's a veteran, along with the other guys, obviously Martin that he's playing next to. That once they tighten that up, they're going to be a tough team to deal with.
419 total yards. They only had the 1 turnover, which was huge. It came at a big point. Yes, it turned into an immediate 7 points because it was a pick 6 early, but you held on to the football for the remainder of the game, and you didn't allow for Philadelphia to have any extra opportunities, because if they would have had any extra chances, good chance you probably don't end up winning that football game if you're the Dallas Cowboys. But it wasn't perfect, but you got the job done. That's a common theme on both sides of the football. When we come back, we talked about the defensive side, who made some big plays late and caused 4 takeaways.
This segment was brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
The Cowboys give up 440 total yards in this one and 34 points. 27 of those came from the defense. But we've got our resident defender back in the house, Barry Church, to break down what happened on that side of the football. Barry, this wasn't pretty from the defense, especially early against Gardner Minshew and the Eagles. The Eagles showing that they have plenty of weapons to throw the football to. But the way that they responded was certainly a good way for this Cowboys defense that's dealt with some problems in that secondary.
Yeah, I believe they responded well. As you mentioned, they have some injuries in the back end, and those young guys out there, Daron Bland and Noshawn Wright, they were able to hold down the fort a little bit out there. But to me, I'm still questioning this pass rush. This is the third week in a row they weren't able to really generate a lot of pass rush. 0 sacks once again today. But once again, they were able to create turnovers. And if you have turnovers in a game, you'll always give yourself an opportunity to win. The other question I have about this defense is third down. This is the second week in a row where teams have been over 50% on getting third downs on this defense. That's just going to extend the time that they're out there on the field, and it's going to wear them down eventually. So they've got to get better on third down, and they've got to generate that pass rush once again. Earlier in the season, we were talking about the waves upon waves of pass rushers they can throw at you. We haven't seen that in these past couple weeks. I need that swagger to come back.
They only gave up 87 yards rushing, but this is something they're going to have to continue to work on, filling gaps. And I keep talking about Gallimore. I keep talking about Bohannon and Carlos Watkins. These guys have to get better and better. We've lost Van Der Esch at the linebacker position, but these other guys, Damone Clark and all these guys, they're young, but they have to step up to the plate.
Yeah, they definitely do. And there were times today where Anthony Barr, Damone Clark played well. Even Luke Gifford got some defensive snaps today on that side of the football. But Barry, you talked about the pass rush and not getting home. This is now 3 weeks now and a combined 1 sack for this pass rush because they were held without one again today. With that being the strength of your team, how long can that go on and it be acceptable for the Cowboys?
It can't go on too long because once you get into the playoffs, you're going to play against quarterbacks that where if you give them time, they're going to be able to dissect your defense. And I'm not sure if Dan Quinn's thinking, okay, we got some injuries in the back end, so we got to protect the back end by having more people drop and just rushing 4 because they were able to get home with just rushing 4 earlier on in the season. But that hasn't come to fruition later on in the season. They might have to start sending some more guys out there. But like I said, it could put their secondary at risk. What do you want to give up? You You want to give up the big play, or do you want to go after the quarterback? You're going to have to decide which avenue you're going to have to choose, because it's getting down to nut cutting time.
You know what? Wow. But cover 2 would help that situation, right? Putting your safeties back deep, letting your corners press there early. But I tell you like this right here, man, you can't send more, because if you send more, that's going to really leave your guys hanging out to dry. You're going to have to drop more guys into the passing lanes to give these young guys a chance. But I think Nashawn Wright, Bland, and all those guys played well enough, and they can build on that from this game today.
It really felt like there was more to build on today at the cornerback spot than there was last week.
Yes.
At last week, there were so many holes, and it was so convoluted at times on the back end of that defense that it really made things tough. Today, you came away with 4 takeaways, one of which was from a rookie in Daron Bland, who had 5 picks this year now. 5 picks for the rookie, and we'll talk to him in just a couple of moments. But there's a look at the stats. 57 tackles for the Cowboys. They were able to tackle well. They were in the right spot at the right time, and they didn't allow the big play, which is something against Philadelphia that's tough to do, is don't allow the big play, and they definitely didn't. But I mentioned Daron Bland. When we come back, Isaiah and I get a chance to catch up with our player of the game. He had his 5th interception of the year. We'll talk to him live from AT&T Stadium when we come back. Welcome back into Cowboys OT from the Star in Frisco. Back here with Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Yeomans, and it's time to make the call out to AT&T Stadium. Live in the locker room, we're now joined by one of our players of the game, Daron Bland, the rookie cornerback, with his 5th, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, his 5th interception of the year. Daron, congratulations on the win. What does this feel like to get a win over the Eagles?
Oh, it was great. They got us last time. It felt great to get the win this time.
DB, what's up, man? This is Isaiah. First of all, congratulations on the big dub. Continue to make big plays, man. Help me and help everybody else, Cowboys Nation, understand what was your mindset? What did you see on that play? Take us into the mind of DB on that play.
It was first of all, I seen where we was at and what down it was. It was 3rd down, 3rd and short. I was thinking that they had to get the ball and just get the first down, because they're trying to stay in their plays and stuff. So I was thinking about the quick game, and I was just trying to be aggressive to it.
So they always talk about interceptions coming in bunches, and you've had a bunch of them here in your rookie season. What's that confidence level like for you right now as you continue to see not only playing time but also production on the defensive side of the ball?
I mean, each week it just builds more and more confidence. It makes me more comfortable. Especially right now, I got just the amount of picks I had in college, so it feels good right now.
All right, DB, I need you to tell the people out there, because I'm a wrestling fan, and obviously you like wrestling too, because you wrestled the ball out the boy's hand. So who was your favorite wrestler growing up, man?
Shoot. Honestly, I'll probably say my cousin, because I watched him more than anything. He was a good wrestler in high school.
Okay.
Hey, he's got an inside track.
Like it.
That's what it is. That's the inside track for a wrestler. That's his favorite. I like it. Daron, I mean, talk about this defense as a whole. There have been some ups and downs lately, but this is still a unit that has a ton of confidence throughout it, at the line of scrimmage, in the secondary. How much are you guys growing together as we get to the back end of the regular season?
I mean, each week, each person that keeps going down, we keep getting tighter and tighter. The composure of this defense, each and every week, no matter what, like ups and downs, how they stay neutral and everything, and how we stay tight, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, team camaraderie, there's nothing like it, man. We knew that you were an absolute dog from the time that you walked into camp, man. We watched you early on after the draft, and we watched you all the way through training camp, making plays in the preseason. Help us understand what contributions has Al Harris made to your development from the time that camp started all the way into the time you just got your 5th pick.
This whole time, each time, like I had to come up and be a vet. Essentially, I would just be confident. Just be confident. And, know who you are. You're at this level for a reason. So, just be confident.
That confidence certainly looks like it's growing. Daron, what's the goal for the rest of the year now? You've got 2 more weeks left in the regular season, then it's playoff time. What's that confidence level like, and how's that goal starting to grow?
I mean, just take it game by game. Each game, our confidence is going to be more and more. We just got to bring some more momentum into this playoffs.
Daron Bland with an interception today against the Eagles. The Cowboys get the win 40-34. And, of course, joining us live here on Cowboys OT. Daron, congratulations. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you again down the line. When we come back, we'll go back out to AT&T Stadium. We're going to hear from Mike McCarthy from the podium following a big win over an NFC East foe. The hopes for the division still alive, like Daron Bland just said. Everything still on the table for this Cowboys team when we come back. The Dallas Cowboys hand the Philadelphia Eagles their second loss of the 2022 season. Welcome back in to Cowboys OT. Kyle Yeomans with you, Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback, and Nate Newton breaking down the Cowboys' 40-34 win over the Eagles. But before we do more of that, let's go back out to AT&T Stadium and hear from head coach Mike McCarthy.
All right. Who's first?
Coach, this
gets Clarence.
Clarence Hill from Telegram. Dak throws the first pick, opening the game. Just talk about the way he responded.
I don't know if he could respond any better. Obviously, he had the interception. Great play. I mean, the play you don't see every day, that's for sure. Just didn't get the ball high enough. But I think clearly his performance. I think going 15 to I think he went 15 completions in a row, but. Just played at a huge level tonight. You can see they crashed the run game. The run defense was really good. But most important thing, I thought Kellen did a really good job staying the course, still getting the run attempts, and making sure Tony and Zeke were touching the football. So, and obviously we got it done through the passing game today.
Mike, Todd Archer of the ESPN. You talked before after the Green Bay game that these games will serve you well. Yeah. What does a game like this do?
Love it. I love it. This is adversity advancement. This is what we've been working on all along, and I just think like anything, two things we got really going for ourselves is our play style. This group, they bring it, the whole time, and I just really like the communication today. You can see, just a short week preparation, but I thought the defensive guys, obviously with Dan. We were getting in and out of our personnel groups, and it was just good to see the young guys and new guys get in, based on the personnel group and just playing the flow. So we knew it was going to be a tough one. They're obviously an outstanding football team. I think both teams probably hope we see each other again. So because you know what that means, but. This was a game we wanted to get and felt like we had to have, more for ourselves, and now we're at 11 wins. So I think our place is clear, but we just got to make sure. Really, this is our toughest stretch of the season from a planning standpoint. Going into a short Thursday game, with Christmas, tomorrow. So that's really. Professionally, where my focus is, and I think the players have done a really good job, and we got it done.
Mike, Newy Scruggs, NBC5 Dallas. Two things. Last week you said the team would respond appropriately after the Jacksonville loss. You speak to that, and then also your defense coming up with 4 turnovers, especially the 2 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, definitely. I was not concerned about responding at all, and I think it's just a credit to the rivalry or the division. Look what our division's doing. You're talking about something that has a chance to never be done in the history of the NFL. So this was a hell of a game. I really wasn't worried about the physical part of it. I was just really because of 6 days and just on a shorter week and getting guys healthy. We had the injuries last week. But I think our guys are they know what's in front of them. We understand the games in the past, and I think you can't dwell on it. You just got to learn from it.
Mike Edwarder, ESPN. Seemed like the play of the game was T.Y. Hilton's first catch as a Cowboy, 3rd and 30, 52-yard play to set up the eventual game-time touchdown to CD. What were you looking for in that situation? Where was he in the read progression? Well,
I think clearly. I thought T.Y. He had 2 huge plays in the game. The 4th down, the penalty that he drew. That was an outstanding route. Where he was grabbed coming out of the breaking point, and then obviously with the long down and distance, what we're looking for is to get a runner. That's the term that I use. If we can get a runner on the outside, take the shot. And, it was a great route, great ball, and obviously a huge play in the game.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Back to your defense. Obviously, you didn't have any sacks, but you get the turnovers and obviously the stop play. Just how gritty was your group today?
Well, I mean, if you were down on the field, you would have felt the pressure. I mean, it was hot on both sides. I thought they did a nice job with their rush plan too. So, the ball was coming out with Minshew, and you could see what they're doing. They hit the RPO double move early, and they came out and made the two big plays right to start the game. But I think we were -4. I didn't see the stats before I came in here, but I know we were -4 in the big plays at halftime, and that was just one of the messages where I think there was 19 big plays in the first half. Just hang in there. There's going to be probably another 16, 17. Don't chase them, make them, and we definitely made them down a stretch.
About Lamb, how over 100 yards in the first half, and you talked about Kellen stayed the course. He stayed the course as well.
Yeah, CD's he's been dynamite all year, and he's obviously getting the attention that because of his performance level. So obviously very gifted young receiver, but just love his tenacity with a smile. So I thought CD played big today.
Coach, talk about the fact being down by 10 points twice. This guy's never gave up, just kept rolling.
Yeah, just once again, I think it just speaks to the culture that we have here. I mean, we have, this is year 3. The connection between the players and the coaches and everybody involved there. There really wasn't any blank. I mean, I think if you'd see our sideline, and I think it's a real credit to the focus, which was real important going into this, because we lost the penalty battle up there earlier in the year, and so it was important for us to play with very, very high discipline and focus, and I thought our guys did that. But you would have never known what the score was, based on the way the behavior of the sideline.
Mike, at the end there, when you kicked that last field goal, did you consider going for it?
No, I didn't. We were playing for at the beginning of the drive. At the 2:01 or was it 2:14? The first time, the first time was 2:14. So we were definitely playing for 7 there. Was the thought.
What was Dak's response to you guys when he ran out of bounds at 2:01?
He thought he was at the 2-minute.
Mike, can you just describe? There was so much attention paid to the pursuit of Odell Beckham Jr., but you get T.Y. Hilton. He's 33 years old, hasn't played all year long. How hard is it to come in and win the trust of the coaching staff and get plays and get opportunities like he was providing?
I mean, this is a people business. Obviously T.Y. is extremely talented, extremely proven. Has played at a Pro Bowl level multiple years. So obviously, these types of situations are unique. For him to be available, and then the opportunity for us, for both of us, our organization himself to get a deal done, and you couldn't find anything but extremely high praise for him, as far as the phone calls that were made, and he's been everything plus. He's come in here and has just grinded on our coaches and learned the language, and the biggest thing is he is a very polished route runner, and he's got it. He's done it at like I said, at a high level. But I think I like the way he's integrated himself into the group, and he's a great fit for us. And obviously he had 2 big opportunities, and they were huge plays in the game today.
Cal. Mike McCarthy from the podium following the 40-34 win over the Philadelphia Eagles. Back here with Barry Church and Isaiah Stanback. This coaching staff chose the word resilience to rally around this year. They've said it from training camp. They've said it all the way throughout this regular season. They will do it in the playoffs as well. So much so, it's the Twitter header for the Cowboys Twitter account right now. I mean, that's how big that word means something. Today they showed resilience. They didn't necessarily show that in Jacksonville last week when they blew a 17-point lead. What did this team tell you about itself, the way they responded today?
Well, that's the word to describe this team all year long. I mean, if you talk about going from the 31st game, I mean, you lose your Hall of Fame tackle for 12 weeks. You lose quarterback 1 for 5 weeks. You lose 2 of your top 3 cornerbacks for the season. And yet this coaching staff still is able to get the most out of this team defensively and offensively. Look, if this resilient bunch can continue their ways going into the latter part of this season, the sky's the limit for this team.
I totally agree. I don't believe that there's an issue with the word resiliency with this team, association with this team. It's the consistency that everybody's looking for based upon this team, because it seemingly this team has been playing up for the big games and down for the games that they're supposed to win. So the resiliency needs to be consistent no matter who the opponent is. And if they can play like they played tonight and overcome the shortcomings, they're going to be a problem.
Okay, so with that being said, there were games last year where Dallas did not overcome against good teams. Think about the Arizona game late in the season. Going into this, that's what this reminded me of, was that Arizona game. It was the penultimate game of the season, and they fell flat. 25-22 was that final score. They got the job done today, even when they weren't at their healthiest. Neither were the Philadelphia Eagles, but you were still able to get it done. What does that tell you about this team moving forward?
This is a more competitive team. You think about Dan Quinn, who's been in the system now for a couple years. This team, not only just the defensive side, but offensively now, everybody is competing. They've added depth at every position level, seemingly. And now guys want to make plays. You don't want to be left out. When there's opportunities to make plays and do something that's going to be impactful for your team, you want to be the guy that does that. And you're seeing that show up in all three facets of the game. That's what I think the difference is here, and that's when you're starting to see these guys overcome the things that they wouldn't overcome last year.
You're 100% right, Isaiah. What I love that this coaching staff did is they brought competition in on all three levels, especially on the defensive side of the football. You got guys wanting to be that guy on the team. You got these guys wanting to compete, not being left out. You see your other guy making a play, hey, I want to jump in there and make a play as well. And it's gotten this team better and better. Iron sharpens iron. And if they continue this, like I said, the sky's the limit. Hopefully they can do it on the latter part of this year.
And even when things aren't perfect, it's a little bit rough around the edges. You clean that up, you get better, but you also you still don't want to be left out. Yeah. Think about CeeDee Lamb. He's a pretty good indication of what that could have been, because early in the season it didn't look like he was ready for that wide receiver one role. Recently, he looks more than ready. He's had 17 receptions, nearly 250 yards, 2 touchdowns over the last 2 games. We hear from CeeDee Lamb next. Cowboys get the win by 6 over the Philadelphia Eagles. What did CeeDee Lamb have in store for his 120-yard performance from last week? He had an encore of 126 today. Here's what he had to say following the win.
So what's the reaction after a win like that? Is it exhilaration? Is it relief? Where are you right now emotionally?
I'm excited. I'm excited as hell. I'm not even going to lie to you. Great way to battle, us as a team. And, man, we always overcome adversity throughout this whole season. Resilient group. And, man, I appreciate each and every one of them.
To that end, what do you think of how Dak bounced back from the early interception, the pick six, and then from that point forward, he was pretty
locked in. Yeah, as an offense as a whole, we understand the only one that can stop us is us. I feel like we say that week in and week out. Understanding the playmakers and the potential we have to be great as a collective unit can be matched.
Resiliency is one of the words. How does a team build resiliency for it to kind of show out game in game?
I mean, obviously we don't want the adversity, but I mean, in all reality, this is the NFL. And understanding that guys are going to give us their best shot and vice versa, we got to match their energy. So just understanding that resilience, we're going to always lean on it, but that, I mean, we're trying to win.
Confidence-wise, big picture, what does it mean to beat that Philly team?
Keep going. At the end of the day, we got to keep stacking these dubs going into this tournament.
For yourself, do you feel like you've been in a little bit of a zone here with your performances?
Oh, yeah, I'm locked in for sure.
Today in particular, though, you and Dak seemed really in sync. Is there something you can speak to today that allowed you guys to be as productive as you were?
Oh, no, we're just going to let the play to do all the talking. I feel like we've kind of answered all the questions. We just got to go out there and do what we do.
Is Philly doing anything different in the second half to try and slow you down?
Yes, they were freaking doubling me. They knew what they were doing.
You welcomed the receiver help.
Most definitely.
Last few weeks, T.Y. helped him 3rd and 30 against that 53-yard grab.
Come on. That's T.Y. Very exciting player. He's been his whole career, for sure, a deep threat. Don't let the size fool you. He'll the speed to sneak up on you.
What could that unlock in the future with this team?
Yeah, like I said, you keep trying to double me, I have playmakers on the outside, and I have the utmost confidence in each and every one of them, and it showed today.
There's a pretty decent chance, especially if you guys handle things the way that you want to in the postseason, that you play them again. What do you think about the idea of playing Philly for a 3rd time?
Oh, man. I mean, that's big on big. We're looking forward to those games, and hopefully we see them again down the road.
What's impressed you about T.Y. since he's gotten here?
T.Y.?
What's impressed you about since he's gotten here?
how smooth he is. I mean, he's very deceptive. His route running is, I mean, I can go on and on, but he's very smooth. He's a smooth operator, and he understands the game very well. He slowed it down for me in a matter of 2 weeks, so appreciate it.
What's Dak's demeanor like after he does have an early interception or something? Sideline.
I just told him we got to go get 7. Literally, right after the play, we ended up on the sideline. Of course, they had the field goal. I said, now let's go get 7. I mean, regardless, you can't dwell on what just happened. Understanding this game, a lot of people, get paid. A lot of people got a lot of things to play for, So just overcoming that adversity, everybody's going to make a play.
CD, last one for CD, guys. A year ago, the San Francisco game, there was 1 catch for you in that game. Everybody's talking about how you needed to be targeted more. Today, 8 catches in the first half. It just feels like, how different does it feel? How much has changed in your role and everything to this point now?
Man, I'm ready for whatever that's thrown to me. Throughout this whole season, I've been very humble throughout the season. I mean, that's just me as a person, never getting too high on the highs, never getting too low on the lows, and understanding just staying neutral, being positive, and doing whatever we got to do as a team, and that's my job to help.
All right, thank you, CD.
His 4th 100-yard game of the season. He had a multi-touchdown game as well, now up to 8 on the campaign. Back here with Nate Newton and Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Yeomans on Cowboys OT. The expectation going into the year was that CeeDee Lamb was the #1 wide receiver. He's not only looking like a perennial #1, he's looking like a guy who could be at the top of the league.
He's looking like a straight goon right now, and that's exactly what you want from the guy that you sacrificed everything for at the wide receiver position. You went ahead and you got rid of Amari Cooper last year, and you said, hey, young fella, we're going to rely on you to take over the throne. And early on, it looked like that might have been a bad decision, but since then, you've already mentioned it, Kyle, he's starting to be a selfless player. He's blocking in the running game, and then when the ball's coming his way, he's making tough contested catches, and then obviously they're finding ways to get him open on plays like you saw tonight. He's scoring touchdowns. He's becoming that big play guy as well as a possession guy to move the chains.
He's that humble guy now. You heard him say it. He say, I'm humble. I don't get too high. I don't get too low. At the beginning of the year, even in training camp, we watched him, if a pass didn't go his way, if he thought he was open, you would see his body language change. But as the season went on, he grew to be a better and better guy for how he handles his blocking duties, how he catches the ball. He's a better route runner, and he's making plays, and he's not dropping that small ball, that 5 and out, that 5 and in. He's making the plays that a #1 should now.
Yeah, second time this year that he's had double-digit receptions, and in this one specifically, he was targeted 11 times, had 10 catches. Last week, targeted 7 times, 7 catches. He's not dropping any opportunities. He is taking advantage. Micah Parsons taking advantage of plenty of chances throughout his career. We'll hear from Micah when we come back with more Cowboys OT after this. It's the second time in 3 weeks that the Cowboys pass rush has not ended up with the sack. However, they did get after Gardner Minshew on a number of occasions and limited the Philadelphia ground game in their 40-34 win over the Eagles. Let's hear from Micah Parsons out at AT&T Stadium.
How do you personally evaluate a performance like that from you guys defensively? You create a bunch of turnovers and come up in big spots with some big plays, but also give up 34 points. How do you grade that performance for you guys as a whole?
It's tough. I mean, we got to think we're going against one of the most explosive offenses in the league. I would say a top 3 offense all around. I mean, so it's a tough spot to be in because how explosive they are and guys is banged up. But I mean, I just go for the guts. The relentless effort everyone gave, the nonstop. Even when things didn't go our way, it was down to nothing. Nobody changed their heads. No one put their heads down, and we just kept going. So. You grade the heart, the effort. Those is type to win games. The gutsy performances. Like I said, the execution part you could fix, but the heart and the effort you can't teach that.
You could see that the third time. You talked about how much you were looking forward to this matchup after the last one in Philly. How much have you gained from these 2 games, if there's a third?
Man, as in like what?
Just going up against these guys.
For me, it is what it is. I'm not really into the rivalry. Or, he say, she say, or how everybody may feel. My mindset's always the same, and that's to go out there, eat, play ball, and have fun. If we see it again, then it's up again. That's what it is, and that's just the nature of the beast. Sometimes you walk into the cage. So if we see him in the cage again, then that's what it's got to be. And, you know, we got to come out and get a win. But, you know, everyone, it's the same for everybody, free smoke.
Micah, how tough is it to get to him today? You were very close overall as a passer.
It was pretty tough. Ball coming out quick. I mean, he was extending some plays with his legs. Not a lot of tape on him, so it's kind of how to figure out his drop set, where he wanted to be, then step up a lot. Obviously, as a smaller quarterback, so pretty difficult. But you know, the pressures and the relentless effort across the whole D-line created some stops down the stretch. Oh, I mean, there's grabbing every week, but, you know, we don't look for that no more.
We saw you walking down the hallway here really slow. You called for the timeout at the end of the game. I was sick all week. I mean, how exhausted were you in this game and how wiped? It seemed like a lot of effort on the field at the end of the game to try and get to where you were trying to be.
Yeah, I mean, when you come out here and, you know, I tell people all the time, there's a time where, you know, it's never really about money. It's never really about politics, never really about, you know, the name on the back of your jersey. It was just at one point you just played the game to have fun because you just loved it. You loved going outside with your friends and you just ball all day, and then you come inside dirty and you wash up for dinner. And that's the type of mindset I just take into the game. I'd rather just ball out, have fun, be dirty as hell, tired as hell, than watching everyone be tired as hell, you know? So I just look for the grind, the hustle, and really just, you know, love the game, you know. You only get one time at this. You get one shot. So I know I'm going to go down swinging and know I gave it everything I got.
Quite the perspective there from Micah Parsons in just his second year in the NFL. However, you could sense a little bit of frustration there that he still hasn't gotten home with the sack. Only one sack combined for that Dallas defense over the last 3 weeks, but they made the plays when they needed to late. 4 takeaways in the 6-point win over the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll tie a bow on this one and send you into the happy holidays with a Cowboys win when we come back on Cowboys OT.
The Cowboys OT was brought to you by Sleep Number. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.
The Eagles go cold late, and the Cowboys close out a Christmas miracle. 40-34, the final score at AT&T Stadium. The Cowboys improve to 11-4 and keep their NFC East hopes alive. The Eagles fall to 13-2. Now, the Cowboys still have to win their final 2 games against Tennessee and Washington, and Philadelphia would have to lose their final 2 in order for the Cowboys to sneak in as the number 1 seed in the NFC. We've got Barry Church, we've got Nate Newton, Isaiah Stanback wrapping things up. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Barry, final thoughts on this 6-point win?
Defensively, continue to find ways to take the football away. Forward today, that'll always give you an opportunity to win. Offensively, just find 88 out there. That is a grown man right now, and he is balling.
Defensively, just continue to stop the run and give yourself opportunities and keep up with the turnovers. Offensively, man, just keep gelling.
So you're saying there's a chance, Kyle?
There's a chance.
There's a chance. Continue to play your 1-game season. Every week you have a new opponent. Take care of the guys that show up to the stadium, and then you'll find yourself in a good situation at the end of the year.
Got to find a way to get it done. The Cowboys will face the Tennessee Titans in a short week. Thursday Night Football coming up this week. We'll be here pregame and postgame to break it all down for you starting at 7 p.m. Central Time. 6 p.m. Central Time will be our pregame coverage on DallasCowboys.com. But, hey, happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas. It's a good Christmas Eve. Smiles across Cowboys Nation because they get the job done today, 40-34, and 40 burgers on Christmas Eve, too. How about that? It tastes very nice here on Christmas Eve. For Barry Church, Nate Newton, Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle Yeomans. And, again, from our entire crew, happy holidays. We'll see you on Thursday with more Cowboys OT.